Hey, I'm Joe DiGiulio with another quick lesson. This quick lesson today is going to be on the rigid varnishes. What I mean by that, the polyurethane varnishes made by Matisse. You've got the PolyU gloss varnish, MM19, and you have the polyurethane varnish satin. This is MM11. Basically a satin or a finish that is not flat and not highly sheen, somewhere in between. A mid-gloss, if you will. A matte varnish is not offered in these, the polyurethane. Polyurethane, when it dries, the natural acrylic binding properties of that lend itself that it always will have a sheen. It's like the pour-on glass, like you've seen maybe on a bar top or what have you. What these are for, they're not for doing on canvas or on paper, because when they dry to a rigid finish. They are non-flexible and they will crack. So if you have something like a paper or a canvas, that's certainly going to be a problem for you. You want to stick to something that is a hard finish, such as this. This is a Da Vinci panel, something of that nature, or a birch wood panel. Anything that are made that are like a cradled panels. People will work on outside things, bird feeders, mailboxes, anything of that, folk art things. They're going to want to finish it with a polyurethane varnish. Now, simply saying, it's just like any other of the varnishes that you've probably seen on the other quick lessons. You apply it straight on, but the important thing, these you do not dilute with water. You use them 100% right out of the container. Now, of course, the polymer varnish is going to dry to a high gloss, and it makes a great protective coating for anything that's going to be outside. It can weather the elements. So you want to do a sign or an outdoor sculpture or something of that nature, you can finish it off by sealing it with the polyurethane. Simply speaking, it just coats on very nice and lightly. Very minimal streaks from it. You have the high gloss, and basically the difference between that and the satin is the sheen factor. The PolyU varnish is going to have a high sheen factor, whereas the satin is going to be buffed down a little bit more. It applies the same way, thick and rich, and you'll see it's a white milky cream. Don't be disturbed by that. What will happen is, after it dries, that will dissipate into a clear translucent coating. Again, I'll apply it. I like to usually, when I add a varnish, I like to cross hatch it. But I don't want to overwork it. If you overwork your varnishes, you can actually get streaking and it scrums up. It'll roll up on you if it starts to dry because you've worked it too much. Get it on there and let it self-level. That's the properties it'll have. It'll do that for you. These varnishes are great to protect, to preserve the wood, seal it from the outdoor elements. Make sure that you use a nice brush. Again, I love to use the 2-inch wide wash. You can see in these areas, it looks milky white, but don't worry about it. When it dries, it'll level out and be absolutely clear. Either a high gloss or a nice smooth satin. You decide which finish you'd like. Again, very simply, clean up with soap and water. No problem with that. You don't have to worry about those kind of things. Washes out, not going to really stain too bad. But you want to go ahead and get it cleaned up with soap and water. Don't leave the brushes out. So I like to put mine right into the water once I'm done. Let it sit up and finish, and it'll be great for you. So that right there is the PolyU varnishes. Let them go ahead and rest, and it'll all level out. We're getting actually some nice, interesting effects from here right now. I don't know if you can kind of see. Here's some beating up sections, and it tries to level itself out. Actually, it's just quite extraordinary. So when you're going to work on something that's going to be outside, it's going to be a rigid finish, make sure you use the PolyU or the satin non-water-based varnishes for all your work that's going to be outside. That's it for me right now. Thanks for stopping in and checking out this quick lesson. See you.